Hey there, Jed Coverness here from jedcoverness.com, and welcome to Talk Therapy. It's a tool that I use to get to know myself and to get past my analytical mind. And hopefully, somebody is inspired to do it themselves, right? So, I never talk about, or I never think what I'm going to talk about. I never think about it. I just kind of hit record. And that's the coolest part, is you just never know what's going to come out. It could be a bunch of random. It could be a bunch of useful information. It could be a bunch of useless information. You just never know. And that's the point, is loving the unknown. So here we go. Let's get ready to talk about something. I have no idea. An update on the vest to chest experiment. I have been sewing. I got a bunch of string in. Yarn or string, I think you'd call it string, like waxed thread. That's the word I'm looking for, thread. And I've been sewing my little fingers off, and it is coming really nicely. So I bought some material and some foam. Essentially, I put padding in there because I want to wear that vest for 8 hours a day, or for 12 hours a day, and I may not be able to wear it for 8 because wearing it at work might not be possible, but I'm not sure. But the whole thing is, I don't want the thing to look like a bomb, so I put little orange straps, like I sewed little orange patches on the front and on the back. I have this pretty cool iron-on patch from Gary Vaynerchuk. It says hustle mode on. I'm going to put that sucker on there for sure. I'm going to iron him on. And then hopefully it'll look less like a bomb and more like a weighted vest. And that's just the truth of it, right? Like, there's so much going on in this world that it could look like a bomb, and I don't want that. And just saying the word bomb is like almost not okay in this day and age. But here's the deal, right? Like, the more I say it, the less people will be frightened about it. So it's a camo vest with orange patches on the front and on the back, and I'm going to have the patch of hustle mode on right in the middle of that orange patch, and I think that will be enough to take the stigma away from it, right? Like, make it look like make it stand out is what I'm trying to do. Not like draw attention to myself, like, hey, look at me, but draw attention to it to say, oh, well, that's not a bomb, so awesome, But the whole point is to gain the empathy needed to understand what it feels like to have 60 extra pounds as an adult, right? So if a person has never felt any extra weight in their life, how are you supposed to know how to do that? How are you supposed to know how to help somebody? What movements hurt? What movements help? Those are just questions that run through my head. And I think it's actually, I know. I think I'm onto something. How? I don't know. But and I'm loving that I don't know. But what I mean is, it should be part of a class. Like, I would say that's the one thing that college failed me at, was empathy. Was the ability to put myself into my client's shoes, my patient's shoes. College failed me in that way. Like, it gave me so much information and so much knowledge about what I need, right? But I think a course on empathy would be massively helpful. The only reason I gained any kind of empathy is because I started selling, right? Like, I started selling personal training, right? Like, I started selling physiologist sessions, training sessions, and the only way a good salesperson can get very good is to have empathy. Now, you can sell yourself to an employer, which is awesome. But you also need the empathy and portray that for you to get hired. Like, I have a massive amount of empathy. And can you teach it? That's the question. Can you teach empathy? You can simulate it. You can simulate it. And this vest is very close. It gets you very close. I was an overweight child. Not like crazy amount, but enough, right? Enough for somebody to realize, whoa, you know, between middle school and high school, lost some weight, and that was a big deal. Played a lot of video games, ate a lot of crap foods. So you do that, and then you understand. But then as an adult, I don't know what it's like. So I'm figuring it out. I'm asking the questions. I'm doing what it takes to feel the pain, the effects, when I was wearing it all the time before I started like modifying the vest, I wanted to sit down a lot. I noticed that. Because the weight would just pull down on my body. Taking off the vest was like, oh, yes. And the vest is fine for working out like for an hour with it on, but it's not designed to be worn for 12 hours straight. And that's okay. But I think what this means is that I definitely am onto something, because college failed me in that way. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with the vest to chest experiment. And I'm going to call it hashtag vest to chest experiment, because it is an experiment. I want to see before and after, like my pain level before, my shuttle run before, how many push-ups I can do before, how many squats can I do before, how many sit-ups can I do before, and for the amount of time, right? So it's all this experiment, because I think the more and more we can teach people empathy, then we can teach people how to actually help people. Because if you think you always have the answer, you don't. If you can really think about other people first and what their problems are and solve their problems, then you're onto something. Teaching empathy with the 60-pound weight vest. Require it in college as a part of a class, or even not even like a whole semester of empathy, but like even if it were 2 weeks. Require the weight vest to be worn in class, out of class, at their work. You know, get it cleared by their work first, sign release forms, all that fun stuff, and then they could totally do it. They could totally do it, because that would gain you the empathy needed. Now, if a person has already lost the weight, oh well, like, you still need to feel it, because as you age, you forget. Like, you forget what the extra weight felt like. And the reason I say that is because I put on the vest for the first time, and the flood of emotions just hit me. It was like, whoa, am I in middle school again? Is this really how much I weighed? It was about 230 pounds. Give or take, but yeah, it was. I mean, it was it was nuts. So we forget what our weight felt like or feels like. So we have to go back into that time to say, all right, how may I help this world? What's the best way I can give somebody the one up, the leg up, the advantage? And I think that's what it will take. So I'm almost done sewing that thing, and I'm just all sorts of excited to put it on and not have it weigh down so much. Like the foam that I found it's awesome. I also finished a suspension trainer. That was pretty cool. I homemade or like hand sewn one of those together. I'm really excited for the person to get it. She's gonna rock it. She's gonna rock that thing. Then she'll see, like, oh yeah, okay, I can do anything. And that was pretty exciting because, I mean, quite frankly, I don't have a lot of extra time to be making those, but, you know, I'll accept people who say, hey, can you make one? Can you make one? Can you make one? Absolutely, I can. It's okay. Like, I'll get it done. Now that I have the thread and stuff like that, I get it done quite a bit faster, but it took quite a while to get the thread. It's a kind of a special waxed thread that I like to use with the Speedy Stitch tool, and it's just a lot of fun to actually just sit there and create patterns and to sew. But it's not a traditional sewing, it's like a big maul, right? And you take this giant needle and you know, go through and tuck under the thread, and it's pretty cool. So empathy is the word of the day, I would say, the word for today. If you don't have empathy, let's work on that. Let's work on putting yourself into other people's shoes and feeling what that feels like. Really getting deep down into the emotional center. Do that. If you're looking for a system to do that, I got one. Comment info below, or shoot me a direct message or a personal message, or however you want to do it, and I'll get right back to you. So as always, if you're willing to change from the neck up, you will change from the neck down. I believe in you. Now it's your turn to start believing in yourself. Stay safe out there. Be blessed.